share the PPT. I hope that the PPT is visible.
Yes, sir.
Right, all of you can keep a notepad and a pen so that you can also work out along with me. Sorry. Well, so this is the algorithm for finding the minimal cover. Now recall that the minimal cover involves three conditions to be satisfied. The first condition is that in every FD, the right hand side should have only one attribute. Second, it's about reducing, second or third. In this case, algorithm wise, we can take it as second point. Reduce, if at all, any redundant attribute or extraneous attribute is present in the left hand side. Supposing if I have only one attribute on left, I think this step is not going to be considered at all, because only when I have more than one attribute on left hand side, then I will decide whether it's required or not. Now the third condition is about redundancy of FD itself. If I can remove some FD and if it's still equivalent to G, there's no point in keeping that, it's unnecessary. So this extra FDs which play no role at all can also be removed. Now once you follow all these three steps, then or three conditions, then whatever the FDs left out is called as minimal cover. Now in some problems we may get more than one answer, that means more than one minimal cover also. So yesterday I had mentioned that my previous class or previous lecture, I just mentioned about this particular point, that is step number 3, where how to find out whether the left hand side has some redundant attributes or not. Now that's a bit tricky, so we shall take number of examples in order to demonstrate this as well as finding the minimal cover. Okay, so this is the method by which we can eliminate attributes from left hand side, if any. Okay, right, so we have supposing if we consider an FD of the form X arrow A, because right hand side normally it will be single attribute, because the first step is that we don't allow multiple attributes. Left hand side we may have more than one attribute, so X may have, X may have multiple attributes. Now from F, now let's assume that some attribute from this set X, call it as B, right? Call it as B. Now if, whatever it belongs to that X, that means part of this X, it could be three attributes which form X. So we take one by one, that each attribute I call it as B. So X is a set of attributes. So I may have, say, L, M, N, right? Now the first attribute I consider may be L. So that's what I'm calling it as P. So any attribute from this set. Next I'll see whether I can, remove M. Next I will take N, whether I can remove that as well. So out of these three, two could be redundant, because at least one attribute should remain. So that question of all three attributes redundancy is not there. So we will have to find out that which are the attributes which may be redundant or could be eliminated. So I just pick one attribute that belongs to the left side you know, you can see here after removing B from X, so whatever is left out, like suppose if I remove L and Mn may be the attributes which remain in X, so that could determine A plus this whole, you know, FD, which was originally LMN. So that union this will be or will hold. That means it is still logically correct even if I remove this. That means supposing if this determines A, even after removing L, my Mn should still determine A. That means this is redundant. So we don't want to keep unnecessary attributes on the left hand side. So eventually elimination of any attribute from the left hand side of any FD, you know, it helps us in reducing the unnecessary attributes from the left hand side. Okay, now how to test this? In order to test whether a particular attribute from this left hand side is extraneous or not, we follow these two steps. Now observe carefully. Compute after removing this B, you are left out with some attributes like M and N, let's take. And you find the closure of that using whatever the FDs you have in F, right? So first find this, that is step number 1. After removing B, which you feel that there could be redundant. For example, L, I want to check whether it is redundant or not. After removing that, I am left with Mn, so find its closure. Now, in that closure, check whether, that means in this closure, check whether the one which you have extraneous attribute, what you think that it could be extraneous attribute, that is B, if it is there in that closure, then it is extraneous. What does it mean is that it is not required. That means whatever you have deleted from X is correct. Supposing if that attribute is not present, it doesn't contain, let's say, then we say that it is required. You can't eliminate, you can't delete. So find Mn closure, Mn plus, then if that closure has this L, contains this L, which means it is extraneous. If it doesn't, then it is not. I mean, you can't eliminate. So let us understand this. Right? Okay, this is what I said. You can work out parallelly, so it helps you to understand this concept very easily. So we have now R given with 3 attributes A, B, C, and we are also given FD, F set of 2 FDs, A, B arrow C and A arrow B. Now this, according to minimal cover, the problem is to find out the minimal cover or try to see whether, any attribute is extraneous. Now each of these FDs, you have the right hand side single attribute, so there is no problem. First condition is satisfied. Now the second step, that is to find out whether any extraneous attribute are there. See, this FD we don't need because there is only one attribute on the left hand side. So always you should consider, FDs where you have more than one attribute on the left hand side. So the first FD has more than one attribute, A and B. And so some external noise is coming, you can just mute it. And so we should find out whether A or B, is extraneous. Now how to find out? As I said, we will just remove A, right? So what is left out? is B. If I remove A, I am left out with B. Now I should find the closure of this. So I start with B. And first FD, no closure. Second FD is not a subset. A is not a subset of B. And so, right? And so it does not, because we have deleted A. So A is not there in this B plus. So A cannot be eliminated. Can't be deleted. Now let's delete B and I'm left out with A. So find the closure of this. So I start with A and F I use it. So A determines B. That means A is a subset and hence I can add B. And AB is a subset of this, so I can include C. Now you can see here that my closure of A plus actually includes whatever the attribute I have deleted, which is B, right? I have deleted B, that's why I got A and its closure is found out, right, after deleting B. So the deleted one is actually appearing on the right hand side, which means that I could delete B is extraneous. Okay, B is extraneous. So from this I can actually delete B. So the final FD is A arrow C, then A arrow B. No more FDs can be actually reduced from this, so this could be the minimal cover, that is G. So this is my G. Okay, so we will just erase this and see whether. So A arrow C, A arrow B. You can see here the result what we have worked out, A arrow B, A arrow C. So I've just shown here the steps. After deleting A, left out with B, so find its closure. After deleting B, we are left out with A, find its closure. So A, B, I think this is C again. Because I've just stopped there because already I got my B, so there is no point. I can say that A arrow C and A arrow B. So now you say we can say that this is G, which is the minimal cover of F. I hope that this example is very simple and we have adopted those two steps which we have explained in order to test the redundancy of any attribute on the left hand side. So we will continue with some more examples. Okay, so here we have a bit complicated one. We have many FDs. This is also a very famous example which many people talk about. Okay, so here I'm not going to talk about the finding out of the minimal cover. This example will demonstrate just to see whether the extraneous attribute, in any FD. In this case, we are considering this FD. So ACD arrow B. Okay, ACD arrow B. So when I have this, I should check whether A is extraneous or C is extraneous or D is extraneous. So anything is extraneous, I can remove it. So I'll start with A. So try to remove A. After removing A, I'm left with CD. And I need to find the closure of CD, that is CD plus. And we can calculate that if you want. So CD plus is equal to, we start with CD and we have here C is a subset, so I can include A. Now we have D, I can include E. Actually, I don't need to continue this because my A, which I have actually deleted, now has already appeared in my closure of CD plus. So even if I continue this, it's not going to help me in any way. So I can just stop here. Since A contains, that means this attribute contains in CD plus, that means that it is extraneous. So we get A, we get A which contains A, and therefore A is extraneous. So after removing A, I'm left with CD arrow B. So I don't need actually ACD arrow B, but CD arrow B itself is enough. So that's what it means, that FD is good enough to determine B. I don't need the help of A. That's what this minimal cover is all about. One of the conditions. So we are trying to eliminate as many attributes as possible from left hand side, as many FDs as possible in these two steps. In order to do this, we have to have one single attribute on right hand side. That's the first condition. So if you remember this, I think it's very, very easy to find the minimal cover. OK, let's go to another example. In this case, the same example, you can see AB arrow C, C arrow A, etc. Exactly the same set of, FDs, but this time we are going to find the minimal cover. OK. Right. So we have first step is, right hand side should be single attribute. C, A, D, B, E, G, C, B, D, A, G. So all the FDs have single attribute on the right hand side. Now we have to find the extraneous attributes. So AB, this FD has to be considered, this FD has to be considered, this then BE, CG, CG, CE, CE. So these many FDs have more than one attribute. So that's why it becomes a bit lengthy, and every FD you have to check. I mean, every FD which has more than one attribute on the left hand side. So I just started with AB arrow C and see whether I could remove either A or B. So AB arrow C, try to remove A. So I'm left with B. Sorry, I'm left with A. Try to can't remove B. Now this time the second option is to remove A, and when I remove A, I'm left with B. So find its closure. Now A is not there in this closure, so I can't remove A as well. So that has to be kept. That means both A and B must be there in this FD called AB arrow C. Similarly, BC arrow D, you cannot, you can check it. And we'll come to ACD arrow B. ACD, because this is over, this is over, this is over, this is the fourth one. ACD arrow B, A can be removed. See, this ACD arrow B we have seen already. You can see here ACD arrow B, and we have removed A and got CD arrow B applicable. So this I can actually remove, and hence I'm left with CD arrow B, which has already been demonstrated in the previous slide. And continue the same by picking up, B, eliminate B and see whether E plus contains B. I don't think so. You can see very easily, and nothing is there at the left hand side, and which would actually get B on the right. And similarly CG, same thing is true here, and CE as well, and this is also CE. Actually this is CE arrow AG. It was, now it is splitted, so that's why you got two FDs for each of this, decomposition the Armstrong axioms. So eventually what we have here is ACD arrow B, that A is removed, and yeah, that's it. Okay, now we have to go for removal of the redundant FDs. So we have checked the attribute removal from left side. Any redundant FDs. So how to do that? This again be tricky, that you have to check with transitive dependency or augmentation and things like that. So what we can do is we can check whether each of the FDs is really redundant, whether we can imply with other FDs. So I'm just considering here CE arrow A, that is this one, marked in blue, now underlined with red. Okay, now is CE arrow A redundant? The answer is yes. Now the proof. How do we say that CE arrow A is redundant? Because of some other FD which already exists. So this requires some knowledge on Armstrong axioms. So if many problems are worked out, probably it becomes easier. Now how to prove that CE arrow A is redundant? The clue or the hint is that it's because of this. But how? So let's see here. Now since I have this FD given, C arrow A. Now I can augment E on either side. It doesn't harm my FD. So CE arrow E. AE, sorry. So E I have added by adding same attribute on either side. That's called augmentation in Armstrong axiom. Nothing is going to change. Next, I can decompose this using Armstrong axiom. CE arrow A, comma, CE arrow E. Right hand side, but right hand side can be splitted. So CE arrow A, CE arrow E. So now I got CE arrow A. So this is not required. From C arrow A, I can get this. So that's why it's called, it is redundant. So it's not really required to have this. So this can be removed. Next, we will take CG arrow B. It is actually redundant. How? Okay, CG arrow B is redundant. That means we can derive CG arrow B using the other FDs like we did just now. From CE arrow A, we have derived CE arrow A. Now similarly, CG arrow B can be derived from other FDs. How? So we will start with CG arrow D, which is given. CG arrow D, yeah, CG arrow D is given. You can see here. So what I do is, that is one. Second, C arrow A is given and CD arrow B. CD arrow B. Where is that? Yeah, this we have done, CD arrow B we have done. So 3 FDs I have just taken in order to prove that using these 3 FDs I can derive CG arrow B. Okay. Okay, I'll start with CD arrow B, that is this one, right? And then I have CG arrow D given, CG arrow D is given, CD arrow B is also given. That's what I'm going to do it, because my idea is to keep my right hand side B, that's the expected one, and the left hand side should be CG. So in order to get that, I'm just picking up these two FDs. So CG arrow D, I can just augment C on either side. So that becomes CCG and CD. So CCG is same as CG and arrow CD. So now I have CD arrow B and CG arrow D. So this is transitive dependency. That means CG determines CD, CD in turn determines B, which means CG can determine B. CG can determine B. That's because of transitivity. So CG arrow B can be derived from these three FDs. We don't require this. So this also is gone. So I'm left out with the remaining one. So the minimal cover is AB arrow C, C arrow A. You can just compare here. BC arrow D. The remaining FDs, I think it cannot be removed or they are not redundant, which you can check. And BC arrow D, CD arrow B, D arrow E, it's there. D arrow G, it's there. BE arrow C, CG arrow D, and CE arrow G. So actually there is one more possibility of getting the second minimal cover, which I'll leave it to you. You can try to see whether CG arrow D can be, removed, keeping CG arrow B. Okay, because left hand side is same, right hand side is the problem. Probably we can get, that also could be removed. So one of these two FDs is a must. So that leads to two different types of minimal cover. One is enough. So that's why I'm just stopping here in order to, show that this is the way by which we find the minimal cover. OK, now let's go for another example. AB arrow C, A arrow D, BC arrow C, no problem. And we have only one FD where two attributes are there. So I can just rewrite this as D arrow B and D arrow G. So this is single, so no problem. So after rewriting this, yeah, so I get AB arrow C, A arrow D, BD arrow C, D arrow B and D arrow G. So this actually had given me two FDs because of the right hand side being splitted, because as per the algorithm, we should have only one attribute on the right hand side. OK, AERAF, no change, it remains same. Now we have to check for redundancy in the left hand side. So this one, this one, this one. So these are the three FDs which we have to consider. See whether I can remove A or B, B or D, A or E. So the only FDs to be considered are, as I said just now, these three, because they have two attributes on the left hand side. So let's take one by one. AB arrow C. So AB arrow C, we will work out here. OK, AB arrow C, I'll just remove A and find out B plus. So we start with B. So nothing is there in the left hand side. I mean, B is not there in the left hand side. So I think A, what we have removed is A. So A is not extraneous. So A has to be there. OK, next B. So I'm left with A. So I want to check or test whether I could remove B. So A plus I need to find out. So A and see whether it contains B. So A arrow D, see A is a subset of this. A is a subset of this current A plus, and hence I can add D. And D determines BG. So D is a subset, so I can add BG. Now it already includes B, and hence this is extraneous. That means I can remove B. So when I remove B, I'm left with A arrow C. So this, instead of AB arrow C, I need to write A arrow C. Now similarly, we'll take this PD arrow C. So I just remove D. So D, I want to check whether it could be removed. So I start with B. B, nothing is there. That's it. So it doesn't include D. So I cannot, I should retain D. And D, I remove B now. I want to test whether B should be retained or not. So if I remove B, D plus is D, D is G. Next G, D, nothing. Okay, D is actually BG. Yeah, D, I can include both B and G because of these two FDs. So now this contains B and hence it is extraneous. I can delete this. So now what happens? D arrow C. So this I should write it as D arrow C because B I can delete. Next AE. So if I remove E, so E I want to test. So find A plus. A, start with A. So we have D. D will determine BG. BD will determine C. AB will determine C. I want to check whether E is there. E, no, because E is not appearing on the right hand side at all. So I don't think that you'll be able to get this E included in this. So this is a must. Next E plus. That means I want to test A. Now you start with E. Start with E. E is not there on the left hand side at all. So it doesn't include A. So I need to retain both. So this last FD, no change. OK, now I will erase all this. That means A arrow C, D arrow C. A arrow C, D arrow C. So these are the changes which we need to make. We'll see whether this is correct. This is OK. So A arrow C is enough. It determines, so that's fine. Next, D arrow C, you can see here, A arrow C, AE arrow F. Now whatever I have worked out, now the remaining FDs. So A arrow C, you can see here, A arrow D, D arrow C, D arrow B, and D arrow G, etc. AE arrow F. So these are the result of the second step or the third step, that is reducing the left hand side attributes. Now we'll have to check whether we could remove any extra or redundant FDs. You have to check for some transitive kind of thing. So if we do that, A arrow C can be removed because you can see here itself. Yeah, it is evident. This one. D is the transitive attribute. A arrow D, D arrow C. Hence, A determines C. A determines D, D determines C, which means that A can determine C. So that's what it's written. So we don't require these two FDs. So this gone. So I'm left with only A arrow C. That's enough. Similar, no, D, I don't think that this can be removed. I think that, yeah. So now we have A arrow C. Oh, sorry. A arrow C can be derived from this. So I'll just keep these two. This is redundant. So I'll just make those changes. A arrow C can be derived from these two. These two cannot be derived from this. OK, so this can be derived from this. So I have to retain this, which will give me A arrow C. So obviously I need to keep these two FDs and the remaining no change. So T arrow B. Correct. So now you can see that, you know, from these many FDs, sorry, here, these many FDs, now I've reduced it and come to a very simple one. The reason is that the simpler kind of FDs you get, which retain the constraints of the original relation with so many attributes, that even if I decompose, now all my dependencies will be retained. You know, the preservation of the dependencies will always be tight, and decomposition of this also will be very easy. You can see here D actually determines many attributes like C, B, D. All these three FDs, the left hand side is same, you know, so I can actually write this as D arrow C, B, G. It is something like USN determines name, USN determines address, USN determines phone number, right? So what does it mean? USN determines name, address and phone number. I can put all of them together as one, that is the union. So these can be obtained only after finding the minimal cover. So this even